Hey gang, welcome to episode two. Look at this with a nice smile. Episode 276 of the All Dolphins podcast with Omar and Poupart, whose name will soon be changing. In case you haven't heard, it's big news by now.
It's not big news.
No, okay, it's not big news. In our little circle here, it's big news. In the grand scheme of things, it's a speck. Is that better?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Saturday, April 27th, 2024. We're heading into the last day of the 2024 NFL draft with rounds 4 through 7. Friday night was day 2, rounds 2 and 3. Dolphins only had one pick, again, because they lost a third round pick as part of tampering sanctions for being naughty in reaching out to Sean Payton and Tom Brady while they were under contract with
Is
others.
that really why they lost?
It's the official reason.
That's the official reason. Okay. Yes.
Yes. Dolphins made one selection on Friday night, that of tackle Patrick Paul. Oh, and I had this little trivia here. I could be wrong, but first Dolphin offensive lineman drafted with 2 first names for his name since John Jerry in 2010. You remember that?
Yes. John Jerry, who I remember back in the day, I used to beat up John Jerry. That was in my early obsessions for offensive linemen because.
Excuse me 1 second. Let me interject here. By beat up, he means not writing nasty things. He doesn't mean like beating up. Sorry, go ahead. I want to clarify that.
Because John Jerry was the weak link of those Tony Sperano offensive lines. And while he was an immovable object in pass protection because he was about 340 pounds, and I'm being conservative, and you absolutely couldn't beat him get to the quarterback because going through him, he was moving nowhere in run game and did not help you any in run game. Now, that didn't stop him from being a 7-year starter in the league, probably until he ate his way out the league. But, man, I used to think that guy was mediocre till I got past a lot of the other offensive linemen that tried to replace him, and now they were mediocre. Yes.
Yeah. And if you look at it, I think it was a 3rd-round pick out of Mississippi, and for the length of the career he had and being a starter as long as he was, that was a good pick. Today's also the anniversary of it's 41 years. Yes, I know, a long time ago. One of the best late-round picks the Dolphins ever made, that in 1983. Mark Clayton, wide receiver from Louisville, was selected in the 8th round back when the
draft 8th round?
The draft used to be 17 rounds. Can you imagine?
Yeah, but what pick was he in the 8th round? Because I'm sure the draft.
I mean, overall?
Yeah.
Well, probably 26 teams at the time. 726 is 182. Picking late, so probably 200 something.
He was 223.
Okay. Right.
That's interesting. We'll probably do 200 and what? 50 picks?
I think. I know. I have the list right here. So hold on. Let me. Yes, I'm a nerd who prints out the.
And writes down every pick too. By the way, just for those who don't tell your secrets. Okay.
No, don't have to illustrate and prove how big of a nerd I can be. 257.
257. Okay. So yeah, so he still would have been in this draft, but yes, it's very interesting to see the process and see how things take place back in the day and then today. Right now, the Dolphins we'll get into the selections that they've made previously, but right now the Dolphins have a 5th round pick number 158. So they're going to go how many picks? Because I know you know the number. In terms of from the 2nd round pick to the 5th round pick, how many picks?
4th round pick starting today. So
no.
Well, the 3rd round pick's already done. Oh, you mean you're talking about the gap between their picks?
Yes.
So 55 and 158, so 103.
103. So they've got a 103 pick drought. And then they've got some late round picks, 184, 198, and 241. We'll get into what our strategy would be, which I don't know how much of a strategy you could have. Just pick good players. But
killing my lines, dude. Not fair. That's not fair.
just pick. Listen, Okay, I'll do a better strategy when you start discussing it. I'll do a better strategy.
Okay, fair enough. Yours. Okay, and by the way, the extra 6th-round pick is the Dolphins reaping the benefits of signing and then being able to trade Dan Feeney last year after they signed him as a free agent. They got a 6th-round pick for it.
For $3.25 million, unloading that contract. Yes.
Well, what was the signing?
He wasn't going to make the team. Let's be honest.
Yeah, probably not. What was the signing bonus? That's what the Dolphins were on the hook for.
No. The whole contract was guaranteed. I remember looking at that contract, and I was like, why would they guarantee a whole contract for a Jets back?
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Once he's traded to Chicago, the Bears take on the salary. The Dolphins take on being responsible for the signing bonus. That's what my question is. I don't recall and have his contract in front of me. What was the signing bonus?
Probably something in the neighborhood of $500,000. But
okay,
yeah.
So the Dolphins basically pay $500,000 for a 6th-round pick.
Fair trade for me.
You want to look at it like that? That works.
I mean, I just love the fact that they got to unload a contract of a player who we would argue was probably the 9th best, 10th best offensive lineman last year's team.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I agree. It's scary. We're agreeing right now. Froze for a second. Okay, so I guess we should get to it. Pick number 55. The Dolphins on the clock. We're all speculating in the media room. Okay, what's there going to be there? A lot of what? Yes, we were. Maybe you were walking around doing something. I don't know. We all threw out our guess. Could it be a wide receiver? There were several of them on the board. Troy Franklin being one of them. Adonai Mitchell had just gone a couple of picks before. Malachi Corley was still out there. Looking at the 3rd-round picks here. Roman Wilson, who played with Tua at St. Louis High School in Honolulu, was still out there.
Honolulu.
Jalen McMillan from Washington was still out there. So we're throwing out wide receiver. Could it be a safety? Could it be I think they were pretty much the other ones. And then the other idea was, could it be an interior offensive lineman or a tackle who could play an interior offensive lineman first and then before switching to tackle?
Let me address that.
That's not what the Dolphins did before.
Yes. The Dolphins selected Patrick Paul, who is a straight-up offensive tackle, has played every snap of his career at Houston at left tackle, and a long, lanky developmental project who basically needs a lot of coaching up, raw tools, strong, 300 reps of 225 and the bench press, longest arms in the draft, 6'7" frame. A lot of people had mixed reviews on him. Some people thought he could be a first-round talent. I got one draft assessment, and which obviously came out before NFL teams really start to get the word out on these prospects. They had him projected as a possible first-round pick. Most people viewed him as definitely a day 2 selection, but also then there were others who felt that he could fall into the 4th round. Now, a lot of people were wondering, why wouldn't the Dolphins trade down and try to still get their player? And I think that that's a dumb strategy. And here's the reason why. In this process, you find players you like, you find players you want to work with, you find players who you think their personalities match with your coaching staff or would fit in well with your team, or would accept willingly the role that you're trying to put them in, as in someone who is young, who can learn from Teron Armstead and would be welcoming to that learning process, as opposed to going into the dump as a 2nd-round pick because he's not playing. And I can see the potential and see the upside of Patrick Paul, just because he's long, he's strong, got good arms, decent movement skills. However, what does a little alarm me, concern me, trouble me is the fact that
all of those things,
neither one of the first 2 picks that the Miami Dolphins made nobody's ever a finished product, but they're not close to being finished products. And these are both developmental players.
Ooh.
I said it. There's no shame in that. Huh?
You said what you said.
They're both developmental players, and there's no shame in developmental players. They have high ceilings. I don't know what the term is. It's like,
lower floor, higher ceiling.
Lower floor, higher ceilings, and that requires good coaching. Now, clearly, and Mike McDaniel's harped on this for 2 days, they're not afraid to coach and develop players, and they want to do that. That's their goal. That's their vision. So
It's their job. Forget goal vision. That's their job.
I've been here with a lot of teams, a lot of Dolphin teams that ain't developed Shaka Zulu.
Yeah, but that's their job. The good coaching staffs develop players.
Good ones. How many have you seen around here?
But it's like, and this is where I'm going to be the bad guy and all that. I'm going to the villain. You hate the Dolphins and all that. It's a great thing to say, but
Who hates the Dolphins?
Sorry,
who hates the Dolphins?
Nobody.
Oh, you mean people say that?
No, that's the comment I will get from some people. I get it. That's fine, but it's like, again, this notion that it's something really unique to want to coach players and develop them.
It is.
I mean,
it is. Like,
duh.
Name me the coach around here that coached and developed players.
Brian Flores. Say what you want about him.
That's because he had a whole team of throwaways and then young players.
Was Emmanuel Agba, who they gave a good contract to, a throwaway? Jerome Baker was a third-round pick.
For the development of Emmanuel Agba?
Oh, absolutely.
I think Emmanuel Agba was a Super Bowl champion, starter on the Super Bowl championship team.
No, he wasn't. He was on IR when they won the Super Bowl with the Chiefs.
Oh,
Sorry to correct you.
He began the season as a starter. Anyway.
I'm going to double check, but let's see. Go ahead before I resume my point here.
Okay, Emmanuel Agba. I will give you Joe Philbin ain't developed nothing. Adam Gase, like, I don't know who's going to get credit or who's going to take credit for Rashad Jones. Rashad Jones developed under their watch, but usually
Rumo would be my guess there.
Yeah, usually players don't really develop that much around here. They are what they are, and they really don't get any better. And going back to the Koamisi, did Koamisi ever improve from when he got here to when he left? And I hate to use that.
This is the point where, okay, Mike McDaniel is a better coach than what the Dolphins have had probably since for a while up there. I would make the argument, say what you want about Brian Flores, also was a good coach.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I'm not.
And those two guys were good at, or were in 10, and then have had some success developing play. By the way, Emmanuel Agba started 4 of 10 games for the Super Bowl champion Chiefs in 2019 before he was placed on IR and then signed with the Dolphins. So anyway, here's my thing. Okay. First of all, I don't know if I'd use the word developmental project for Chop Robinson. He's a dude with off the charts athleticism, whose game certainly could use some refinement. You could say that about a ton of players, but he's not a project. His crazy athletic ability and ability to disrupt is going to be there.
Really disrupt. He's a third down pass rusher who can't be a 3-down player, right? Allegedly, right now.
Allegedly,
that doesn't require development.
They all require development. And again, if we're going to go back, it's on. But it's
Jalen Phillips was, well, I guess he was like a third down pass rusher earlier in his career. I'm just saying
he wasn't. He could use refinement, except he had good athletic ability and a crazy high motor. I mean, that was a good pick. I mean, dude, how many guys do you get that have like really, really high end athleticism, and they're NFL ready in terms of technique and all that, and they have a high motor? I mean, then those are guys usually are top 5 picks. So we can't like go crazy over here. I like the selection of Chop Robinson because I think he's got the potential, the ability. The ceiling is he's Von Miller or he's Daniil Hunter as
you really want to put that on him?
The Von Miller comp wasn't me with somebody else in terms of the athleticism.
Yeah. But they're not even close to. I looked at their athleticism numbers. Like, no, they went to Penn State. That's it. That's the comp. Like you said Von Miller. The one that bothers me is Micah Parsons. He's
no. That's a little bit of a stretch, yeah. And they also weren't used the same way at Penn State because Micah Parsons wasn't an off the ball linebacker, and the other one was like an edge guy. And you made me disrupt. You disrupted me and made me miss my point here, which doesn't happen very well. No, it happens. So my point is Chop Robinson will contribute as a rookie early, and then with the potential of becoming something really special down the road. Okay.
He has no choice to contribute as a rookie early.
All right.
He has no choice to contribute as a rookie early because right now it's only Shaq Barrett and Chop Robinson.
But I think he has the ability. He's not gonna hurt you. It's not gonna be a liability if he's on the field. Is my point. Whereas with Patrick Paul,
are you sure?
Yes, I have that level of confidence.
You gonna give him edge setting?
You don't think this is where I'm going to throw it back at you? You don't think he's going to be coached to set the edge?
A lot of people are coached to set the edge. That doesn't mean they can set the edge. This is the NFL. These are some big boys.
I would certainly. Well, it's not setting the edge. Also, first of all, it's discipline and not zoning in and trying to go make the tackle immediately and go straight towards the middle of the backfield, and technique in not allowing the offensive tackle to seal you off. So there's a combination there. Okay.
I think, and I know that Teron Armstead is not going to practice a lot because Teron Armstead does not practice a lot. But when I looked at Chop Robinson physically, like eyeball test, and I recalled in my brain what Teron Armstead looks like, I thought to myself, yeah, Teron's going to be turning this guy all camp. But then again, I realized Teron doesn't practice.
Exactly. That won't happen because Teron's not going to practice. So, okay, let me continue. Patrick Paul is another one where, again, and I don't think anybody should be pretentious enough to say, well, I know what he's going to be 3 years from now.
No.
You don't. Okay. No, but even the scouts don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. But based on his athleticism and everything else and his physical build and all that, the ceiling is really, really high. The only issue I would have with that pick, or the issue I would have with that pick, is he's not helping you as a rookie. And I mean ditto, because he can't slide. First of all, there's some development that needs to take place. He's a tackle only. And right now the Dolphins have 3 tackles are going to be clearly in front of him: Armstead, Austin Jackson, Kendall Lamb. And this is a team with a Super Bowl window of contention that is sorry.
Do they?
Well, it's open wider to this year than it is next year. And if you're saying basically it's okay for our second round pick to again give us practically nothing as a rookie because we're thinking more long term, that's fine. But I don't know if that's going to fly with Dolphin fans. This is why you and I both advocated left tackle of the future who can help you at guard immediately. That's not what they got.
No, but hold on. In fairness, that wasn't what was available. That if you were going to do that, you were going to do that in the first round. That was not going to be available to you in the second round. In the second round, you're going to be taking a tackle exclusively, more than likely a right tackle, unless you want to go to the developmental left tackle, which they did, or you're picking a guard exclusively or a center exclusively. Or
this is where you go away from the offensive line. And our good friend Adam Beasley had predicted that's what the Dolphins would do. And I was actually completely on board with him because to me, if we're trying to balance somebody who can help a team that should be in contention, made the playoffs the past 2 years, had the best record in the AFC.
So what'd you want?
14.
What'd you want?
I wanted a wide receiver. I wanted a safety. I wanted, again, somebody who could help. Here's the other issue I have with the pick that goes along with Chop Robinson. If there is one stylistic flaw to this Miami Dolphins team, what is it?
Finesse.
You got 2 guys whose calling card is high-end athleticism. Neither of them are a power, physical type player.
Okay.
You're just becoming even more and more of a finesse team. And again, go ahead.
To me, if I were making that selection, and I understand the upside regarding Patrick Paul, and I understand he's a developmental project with the raw tools that you wanted, but if I were making the selection, I probably would have gone Cooper Beebe route, the Kansas State offensive guard. I'm not saying that he's going to come in and immediately be able to beat out Liam Eichenberg and Rob Jones and But what I am saying is I wanted somebody who did have that toughness, who did have that physicality. And while he's not the athlete that Patrick Paul is, I like the guy who could move people in a phone booth, and that would be Cooper Beebe. Not to say that would have been the best selection, because obviously these guys, they know what they want and they know what they have, and they I mean, we got a lecture yesterday from Mike McDaniel about the developmental guys, and we're a little bit more obsessed with the offensive line than they are. And okay, I got the lecture.
No, you're the one who's obsessed with the offensive line.
Okay. I praised them all last year. So I when you lose Rob Hunt, you kind of got to replace Rob Hunt. No? Yes? Now, I get it, and I do agree with them. I think Liam Eichenberg can be a better right guard than he has been a better left tackle, and has been a better right tackle, and has been a better left guard, and has been a better center. I think right guard is his position. Yeah, yes, I said it.
I don't know. You did say it. I mean, I just don't like
and I'm not. I'm riding the Liam Eichenberg train. I know people will find the irony of that. I think that Liam can improve the way that Austin Jackson improved last year. And I think that Liam will put in the work. Now, the question is anybody that you drafted going to be better than Liam Eichenberg? And if the answer to that question is no, then you draft Teron Armstead's heir apparent, future replacement.
Okay. A lot to unpack here. The thing with the Austin Jackson improvement, and I mentioned this before, and for somehow it always gets overlooked, it's this notion of like, whoa, look where he came from last year. Well, last year he played 2 games. No, the year before.
Yeah.
Mike, he played 2 games.
60,
I'm
68.
sorry, let me take that back. He played parts of 2 games. What also was involved in the uptick in his game, the massive uptick in his game, was a scheme change to something that way fits him better than what previously. With the wide zone, you don't think the wide zone plays to Austin Jackson's strengths a lot more?
I think more his metamorphosis of his body contributed more than the change in scheme. Like, I remember watching Austin in his second season, and he was flabby. He was like 330. He looked like conditioning was an issue. And then when you look at him now, that guy looks like a defensive end. Physically, he's cut up. He's slim. The tummy's gone. That to me has way more to do with his evolution than the scheme fit, in my opinion.
To me, I agree. Absolutely, it's a factor. And he's older, and he's got more experience. But I think the scheme change should not be underestimated. Then, to your point, I'm gonna call you out on something you just said. You said you don't know if Cooper Beebe would have been necessarily an upgrade over what they have at right guard immediately. Well, then I would take you. Then that becomes a 2-year view.
Mm-hmm.
And in a
you don't know.
View,
it's closer. Like, we know that this guy is. We know that Patrick Paul is not competing with Kendall Lamb or Teron Armstead. Like,
no, correct.
Like,
but if you're going to take a guy at the second round, again, for positional value, if you're looking more long term than you are short term, give me the tackle over the guard always. So that's why
absolutely
I don't have a problem with the nose. And this the discussion was, who can you get at 55 as an interior offensive lineman who's going to present a clear upgrade over the 4 guys who will be competing for that starting right guard position?
I think BB was the only option to me.
Clear upgrade.
No clear upgrade.
Yeah. Okay. Then this is why, to me, you go in another direction, and sucks that the Dolphins missed out on Fautanu because the Steelers stole him right before their pick at 21, because he would have been ideal.
You knew that was
for year 1, and he goes to tackle. Sorry.
Yes, you knew that was going to happen, right?
Well, I had heard that the Steelers were like this with Graham Barton also. So,
okay,
they didn't wind up getting it. So as with everything, if 3 years on the road, Chop Robinson and Patrick Paul are both complete studs, which is possible.
I don't even need complete studs. Just give me solid NFL starters. Give me
nice. Your first round picks. I don't want a solid and a starter for a first round pick.
You wouldn't take an Austin Jackson right now from either one of them.
They could have gotten better. I would have taken Justin Jefferson over Austin Jackson. Okay.
That was a medical. Don't do that.
But and here's the other point too is I think Patrick Paul has more pressure to become. He needs to be a really, really good starter for the Dolphins, having sacrificed basically contributions from him in his rookie season. And I think, dude, we can't be hypocritical about it. We said it. A lot of people have said it in the South Florida media. The Dolphins needed guys who were going to provide immediate contributions as a rookie. None of this Cam Smith thing from last year, not Channing Taylor from 2 years ago, and they're not getting that from Patrick Paul. So that dude better be a stud.
Okay, that's fair. I'll take a solid NFL starter, but I can understand your demands for a stud.
That's my take. My man crush actually was gone.
I just don't need them to be the Hunter Longs or Solomon Kinleys or Noah Abenagidis of this draft. You just can't whiff. I need them to be a solid contributor. You can't whiff.
But here's the question now: Are they that much better for 2024? For 2024 after the first two rounds? Okay. No. I think Chop Robinson makes them a little bit better. Patrick Paul does nothing for you in 2024.
No, unless what I do like about the Patrick Paul selection is that he's going to learn and be mentored by Teron Armstead, and I think there's tremendous value to that. He's going to be taught how to be a pro, and that's going to benefit him long term. And then, because Teron does not practice, he's going to get a lot of practice reps against a lot of very good players, and that could speed up his development. So who knows? We could be seeing a day. What?
Get a lot of practice reps against a lot of very good players. You're not actually thinking Jalen Phillips or Bradley Chubb are going to taking part in a whole lot of training camp, are you? He's going to get a whole lot of practice reps.
I'm talking about during the regular season. I'm talking about during the regular season because Teron doesn't practice during the regular season either.
You don't think Kendall Lamb would be taking the reps if he's the backup?
Absolutely not. He's going to Kendall Lamb in my mind, in my vision, Kendall Lamb and him are going to split, and then probably Kendall is going to go work at right tackle just to make sure he has got the cross training that he needs to be the swing tackle. But when it comes to left tackle, I think it's going to be Patrick Paul only. Like, I think he's going to be a left tackle exclusive player. And in fact, he has only played left tackle during his collegiate career. No,
I agree. But to me, I think he's going to get more scout team reps. And then in training camp, he's going to get a heavy dose, pretty much all that he can handle at left tackle.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because Teron ain't doing training camp.
Correct. But the problem there is that neither is Bradley Chubb and neither is Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, but we'll see. And that's the thing. We will see exactly how ready he is for the NFL season during training camp and the exhibition season, because we all know that Teron is not taking a single snap.
Correct. And I would imagine Kendall Lamb will take also very, very few snaps. And yeah, he's going to get a heavy dose. No question about it. So again, my take is
this wasn't for 2024. It was for the future.
Strictly for the future. Correct. And this is what Chris Greer talked about, the 2-year window, the 2-year view when you look at your roster. Mm-hmm. Again, unfortunately, the issue with that I have is that aren't the Dolphins in Super Bowl and go for the Super Bowl mode?
Who knows? Tua might take that next step. Who knows?
But that's the point. If Tua does take that next step, wouldn't you want all available?
All hands on deck. Yeah.
Correct. All hands on deck. Patrick Paul's not going to be on deck as a rookie, logically.
Something happens to Teron, it could be his job. You never know.
So what?
I said, if something happens to Teron, it could be his job. You never know. We can't assume that something's going to happen to Teron at least 6 games a year.
No, correct. But I think we probably think the very high probability would be Kendall Lamb would get the call, not Patrick Paul. But,
yeah.
But if the Dolphins deem him ready to step into the lineup, if something does happen to Teron Armstead, then that would be a bonus, and that would be.
And also keep in mind, if this young rookie proves that he's ready during training camp in the exhibition season, the Dolphins can move Kendall Lamb like this for a draft pick. It would be super easy. And if they move Dan Feeney, they can move Kendall Lamb for a draft pick. So understand that no matter what, they're at positional value, and I think that this is a win for them. My only second guess special is if Cooper Beebe has a better NFL career than Patrick Paul, then you missed.
That's your guy. Okay, so I think it's only fair I should do the same thing. Who would be the guy I'm going to talk? Because we all do this. Okay, so
yeah, put it on the record.
Yeah, no pressure, right? The guys taken after Patrick Paul in round 2 were Marshawn Nealand, edge defender, went to Dallas. Chris Braswell, edge defender, went to Tampa Bay. Safety Javon Bullard from Georgia went to Green Bay. Tackle Blake Fisher went to Houston.
Yeah, I think there was a media contingent that actually wanted Blake Fisher.
Okay. Ennis Rakestraw Jr. went to Detroit. Roger Rosengarten went to Baltimore. Kingsley Suamatia went to Kansas City. And DB Renardo Green went to the 49ers. I think the guy I would look at it is Javon Bullard. That's the guy. It's not a position for position. He's a safety from Georgia. I believe he was the first safety off the board.
Yeah. And then there's a Yale offensive tackle, Kieran. I can't even say his name. And then I also like a Pittsburgh offensive tackle, Matt Gonzalez. Yes, who went in the 3rd round. And Christian Haynes, the UConn offensive guard. He went at pick number 81. Those to me are really the second guess specials. Let's hope that they're Dominique Pooney, the Kansas offensive tackle, who most people thought was going to transition to guard. Zach Zinter, Michigan offensive guard. There was a huge run on offensive guards in the 3rd round, and the Dolphins said, you know what? We're confident and comfortable with where we are at that position. We're going to take our future left tackle. And more than likely, from what I hear based on draft evaluators, they can take these 5th and 6th and 7th round picks and they can kill the guard market and just add guys who can be developmental projects. But as me and you both have said, I think the best approach to the 3rd day is just pick good players. Don't pick players at positions of need. Just stick to your board, highest rated player, add them to your team. Doesn't matter what the position is. If it's quarterback, if it's running back, if it's safety, if it's cornerback. I will say this about the Miami Dolphins. There are a lot of people in the league that I talk to that are huge. When I say fanboys, I mean fanboys of Marvin Allen. He has the reputation as the best college football talent evaluator in the entire NFL and has had this reputation for over a decade. When you go to the Senior Bowl and you go to the Combine, you realize he is Mr. Popular. He is like the hot girl in school. What has always troubled me about what's happened here with him being second in charge and really running the college evaluation department. Or actually, he doesn't run the college evaluation department, but he's got such a heavy grasp on college in terms of being able to get good evaluation, good assessment, good information. What has really troubled me is that they haven't, during his tenure here, killed the 3rd day. Now, they might do well as undrafted players, but they don't kill the 3rd day to the point where the 3rd day is usually a throwaway day. And sometimes the undrafted players are better than the 3rd day players, like Julian Hill over the tight end that they drafted last year. What was his name? You probably know.
Elijah Higgins, who was a conversion. He was a wide receiver.
Okay, cool, cute. Why? If you have one of the best college evaluators in the entire NFL, why are you not killing the 3rd day?
Well, it's either because his influence, if operating under your premise, it's either he doesn't have enough juice to be the one to make the final decision, or maybe as good as he is, maybe he's not quite the Sonny Weaver draft day reference guru that you portray him to be. And I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying, to me, it's like that. It's all fine and dandy, but the results speak for themselves. And again, it's tough to throw a ton of flowers right now, if we're going to be honest about it, because the top two pick of this team the last 2 years were Cam Smith and Channing Tindall. And the Dolphins, and the Dolphins have gotten bupkis from them. So, I mean, this is why I hear you sing your praise of Marvin Allen, and it's like, that's all fine and dandy and all that. And I have also heard that he's got a great reputation and all that. I think a lot of it stemmed from his work in Kansas City and Buffalo. You play in Buffalo? Why am I thinking Buffalo? I know in Kansas City. But again, it's the overall, he's part of an organization, and the overall results of the organization hasn't been horrible, but it's not like
it ain't good. Third day, I'm sorry. That's where I do view the second day as the best day for you to get quality players who will be core foundational pieces and at cheap prices. But third day, man, you got to hit. You got to get some. You got to get some hits. You got to get some. In these at bats, you got to get on base, and they haven't even been getting on base.
Well, baseball analogy. How about getting hit by a pitch? Does that work?
Hit by a pitch was no ignominy.
Well, no. With all due respect to Noah, he didn't get on base. Noah was kind of a strikeout or a little dribbler to the pitcher, if we're going to be honest.
Double play, hit into a double play. How you like that?
Yeah, I do. I grew up playing baseball, so and following baseball. In case this wasn't obvious, I grew up following baseball like religiously. So I'm looking real quickly here. The third day picks of recent drafts: Elijah Higgins, Ryan Hayes, Eric Azukama. That one jury's still out because it's incomplete. Cameron Good, Skylar Thompson, Larnell Coleman, Jared Dokes, Solomon Kinley, Jason Strobridge, Curtis Weaver, Blake Ferguson, Malcolm Perry. Andrew Van Ginkel was a very good third day pick.
He was.
Isaiah Prince, Chandler Cox, Myles Gaskin was a very good 7th round pick. Sorry.
I don't think Van Ginkel was. I don't think Marvin Allen was here during the 2019 draft. I think he came after. I think he was still working for Kansas City.
So you're talking strictly Marvin Allen.
Yeah.
I remember Curtis Weaver. If you remember him, like he had crazy. By the way, and this is important. Actually, I'm glad I brought this up because I saw his name. For those obsessing over the lack of sacks of Chop Robinson, and yes, it is a concern to a certain degree, Curtis Weaver at Boise State was a sack machine, and the Dolphins got him in the 5th round. And there were some people who were like, "You got to steal" and all that.
He was a fat boy, though. He was a fat boy. Let's be real.
Like, not let me finish my story here. I saw him at training camp the first day, and that does not look like an NFL player. And then he moves. I saw him in practice, and I was like, "What the hell? Like, this guy's not making it through halfway through camp. I mean, there's nothing there." And then he got
injured, waived, and then claimed. Yeah, and people
got
were like,
waived. He wasn't even waived injured, which the Dolphins could have kept him. No, hold on. What happened? He got waived injured, and then the Dolphins waived him off.
No, he got waived injured, and Cleveland claimed him. And because I know an executive in Cleveland, he was like, "What's the word?" And I was just like, "Nothing there."
No, and then he said, "I don't know if he's played it down in the NFL." So, yeah,
here's my point on this late round stuff, and all the Malcolm Perrys and Jason Strobridges and Jared Dokes of the world. Devon Gottschalk was a 5th round pick, and keep in mind he was a 5th round pick because he had some domestic baby mama drama arrest stuff on his resume. He had some suitcases. I am comfortable if you want to go add some guys with some Louis Vuitton luggage in this draft. and put them in this organization with this strong locker room they've fallen because they got some luggage. Let's do it. Let's do it. But you got to start adding some players. Rashad Jones, he has some luggage. Fell to the, what was he, 5th round pick? Because
why? Because he was supposedly high maintenance. Is that was that his luggage?
Because he was a diva. If you see a player out in this draft who has slid into the 3rd day because he's got luggage, or he's a dog that might bite you, or he's Preston Williams, let's do it. Because God knows they need an upgrade from a talent standpoint when it comes to backups.
Okay, and I'm gonna, I was aware of that thing that he had gone like off the field drama, but I think you were overselling Devon Godchaux as a prospect, to be honest with you. Because I mean, and I'm actually, because I don't remember him actually at all being that kind of dude. And I'm looking.
No, he fell in the draft because he had an arrest. He had an arrest that was domestic.
Dude, I'm looking at his, and this is not that to say that it's the gospel, but this is NFL.com. It's a draft profile page. The grade they gave him was average backup or special teamer. And they have an anonymous quote from a scout saying, I want to see him make more impact plays. He plays team football, but at some point he's got to go make plays that matter. And he was a very, very good 5th round pick, but I don't know that he's not like, for example, he's not like Tyreek Hill.
8-year starter though.
Sorry?
8-year starter.
I'm saying he was a very, very good draft pick. What I'm saying is I'm kind of pushing back against your idea that he was a stud who only was in the 5th round because of off-the-field issues.
Not a stud, but somebody who deserved to be drafted higher. But yes, and that's my point. If a guy on your board slid a round or two, or you dropped him a round or two because he's got some luggage, that's who you need to be targeting in this draft. And I get it. You don't want to bring those kind of players into your locker room, but I'm sorry. You need some talent. And when you're drafting this low, 158, 184, 198, 241, and Tyreek, you think Tyreek, like everybody knew Tyreek was talented. Tyreek just had some luggage. Go get me some guys with some luggage, and we'll figure it out.
Understanding that there's a risk, and I agree with you. I'd rather take a big shot, a big swing like this, and whiff, than go with a conservative, really nice guy, leader,
team captain,
impeccable team captain, impeccable background, and he's just a man.
He had a mission in Bogota. He was on a mission, a 2-year mission. Nah, don't give me those guys. I want somebody that can bite you.
I agree.
Look at that. So you agree twice.
I know. It's scary, right? I want us to part on good terms. That's why I'm not disagreeing with you.
Then you should stop abusing me in the media room. No. All right, folks.
Well, that's only just begun. I didn't mean to ask you how crushed you were to see Cam Kinchins go to the Los Angeles Rams and not still be on the
Rams are having the best draft ever. I love the Rams draft.
They are.
Yeah, they have drafted every player that's on would be on my man crush list.
Who else other than Kinchins?
Corum, the Michigan tailback.
Yeah.
Verse, the FSU running back. And then the
edge rusher.
FSU edge rusher. And then the FSU defensive tackle, Fisk.
They got all those guys?
Yeah, they killed it.
How about that?
They have killed it.
Let me see. I think the Jets have done well for themselves too. I'll be honest with you.
What did the Jets do?
Sorry?
What did the Jets do?
Sorry. Where's my team by team? Hold on. Here you go. Team by team. Here we go. The Jets have taken the Rams versus Fisk. Man, yeah, they are like lining up your dudes. The Jets have taken Olu Fashanu, Malachi Corley. No, only those two guys, so never mind. But Fashanu is a good pick for them. Now, my man, Washington's the team. Sorry, my bad. Washington's the team to me that's done very well. Jaden Daniel, Jerzon Newton, Mike Senristel, who was a man crush. And by the way, I should mention this. They made the last pick of the third round with a Dolphin connection. They picked wide receiver Luke McCaffrey from Rice, son of former NFL wide receiver Ed McCaffrey, brother of 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey, and brother of Miami Dolphins offensive assistant Max McCaffrey.
Okay, totally didn't even remember he was still on the staff, but props to him.
Any man crushes left for you? I got one man crush left, and I don't know. It's not in the position of need. I just think he's going to be a baller. That's defensive tackle Mekhi Wingo from LSU. Big fan. But and a very intriguing guy who I want to see where he winds up and what his career becomes or doesn't become. And Omar, cue the arm queen in 3, 2, 1. Joe Milton from Tennessee.
Joe Milton from Tennessee. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out which list this is. If this is a man crush list. I think the only one left is Muhammad Kamara from Colorado State.
Colorado State, yeah. Okay.
Most of my man crushes have already been gone. I didn't expect them all to be second-day picks, to be honest with you. I thought some of them would sneak into the fourth round. But Cooper Beebe's on that list. Jackson Powers Johnson, Muhammad Kamara, Braden Fisk, Jared Verse, Michael Penix Jr., Cameron Kitchens. I thought he'd be a third-round pick. I like Amarius Mims, Blake Corum, and Brian Thomas. And Brian Thomas was a first-round pick. I thought he'd probably be a second-round pick. But listen, Rams, I mean, good teams, some teams, Green Bay, Rams, Seattle, Pittsburgh, Baltimore.
Always Baltimore.
All right.
We should mention, since we had him on the show and he was a great guest, a good friend Simon Clancy, his biggest man crush is still available. That was Malik Mustafa from Wake Forest, the safety. So be on the lookout for him.
Hopefully. Interesting. All right, folks, we will be back tomorrow to give you our assessment and overview of the entire Dolphins draft. Looking forward to doing that. Love you, respect you, appreciate you, and we will see you later. Hat tip, Poupart.
Hat tip.